Hey there, mateys. This is Discovery's House of Pirates of the Caribbean film series here. Today is Wednesday, November 16, 2016, and this is a good morning to you. And Prank series with Elliot Giles was very good. And Pirate series is with Psychedelic Wax Card Free Reaction is very good too for yesterday. And we talked about with Pirates of the Caribbean second movie, Deadman's Chest, with Movie Madness. So I'm gonna talk about you guys. Alexander Daddario walking outside for the photo shoot, Beverly Hills, California. This is really gonna be fun today from yesterday for the last one day. So every time she sings about it, very natural. She looks hot and beautiful. She looks really nice today. She looks be respectful her. For every day, she works about filmography, year active, movie production and TV productions and Barcelona's and candidates and puppet productions in this building. She's sure to be fine, she wanted to say hello there, how you doing? She nice to meet the greet, giving them a hug, wherever you want. Demon's Chance documentary on the long stories. So, when Jack Sparrow sails to the Black Pearl, sailing through to the Turkish prison in about last 3 days. When the Commodore Normandy takes off from the Port Royal to sail with them for the seven seas, and he followed them just temporarily for no reasons. And I want you to have for during the prologue today for opening titles, and the HMS Dauntless taking over for HMS Endeavour, when did the Lord Cutler Beckett's ships does. The many of them about East India Trading Company for many of the services for the Port Royal on this island. And when the British soldiers just left there for about 10 minutes ago, when they crashed the wedding and the rainstorms comes in, what she says was William, and he says he's gone in about 3 days. When the Norrington ships Gillette and let them go, they're stranded after the Tripoli, and he was sunk by the hurricane. He's not very sure. Does he was insanity? He was certain saying he wasn't at the ship. It was in the rainstorms. Looks like about the hurricane came out today. I'm not so sure I'm not sure. He's not sure it didn't happen about. He really did all of the Tripoli. Yeah, he will find a letter about hurricane. And he let him try to sail through it, it's try to be a better than before. He's trying to get a pat him. He's trying to get a pat to them before, and it's just mostly about Jerry Bruckheimer films, and every time looks movies very awesome. So just aftermath, Jack Sparrow's in a burial from fake. It's a dead man. It's a Turkish prison, and the Black Pearl sails in the Turkish prison, Turkish island, and HMS Dauntless was sunk during the hurricane and the storm chasers. So that's it. So Demon's Chance after the crash of the wedding, here is raining, thunderstorms, lightning. Here is making them soaking wet. Elizabeth tries to wait for the wheel turners. She holds it with the flowers as she can, waiting for about long time, and when the company man was rival for the Port Royal and in the fortress, a new one could be about a newspaper of company. He was supposed to be here in about a couple of minutes. When the footsteps just came outside, and when the man looks like about British Royal Navy soldiers, he kicked the break in of the wood doors, and he inside the farm. He's got to put a handcuff him. About to put a handcuff in the chains, and she ran back inside. Will was arrested. He was to have been about the warranty and the currency in the realm, as he was the father believes. Just he knows it because he doesn't care about them for the Will Turner stuff. He didn't know to care about James Norrington and Theodore Groves and mentioned the legality, and he wouldn't stand up. He would stand a chance. He would stand up for them, stand up by the soldiers with his spear. He did hear him, and he would welcome him for Governor Weatherly Swan. Governor Weatherly Swan is meeting him, and he was sort of confusing him a little bit. I didn't say his lord actually, and he would be the former in the conversations. The ones they had with William Turner was arresting for warranty, guilty, and a whole thing of life about slaughter, and she was the warranty too for Will Turner's, and he would have lost the man and James Norrington. He was at the presence. There are two of them. They're one of her charges, and Commodore Norrington was gone, and he's stranded in the ships. He's certainly that the storm chaser came in from yesterday, from last 3 days. For the 1743. But he would figuring that out. And Will Turner's, he was threatened for Beckett, and she would go to jail in about tomorrow or something about today. And sometimes he wouldn't figure those out. When in piracy currency as well as he knows about it, the pirate in the world. So be he perhaps in the name of the captain, real Captain Jack Sparrow. And Captain Jack Sparrow, he is certain together, and both. Apparently he can. They will sail the seas for their eternity. But at night in the morning, the real thing in the midnight and the sailing ship in the seven seas. A Pirate's Life of Me by Joshua Gibbs. Walking through the mutiny of the ship, drinking in the mixture, drinking in the wine. When he heard the bell ring, when the crows just flying towards the in the Turkish bridge. Prisoners walking towards the just slowly in the time, and he literally didn't move. He just screaming. Starts eating with his eye. He had no idea what happened about bird cannibalism for him. There he screams a lot. He closed down to the wood gates, and when he throws a burial in the wood funeral, the wood funeral is thrown down into the water beside of up to the cliff into the beach. when the water just roaring out, just splashing through it, all about the waves. Figured that he would be about being notices consciousness, and he was moving to the seas, but he literally silent. He literally silent in the oceans. When the one crow just knocking through the wood vinyl door, he start gunshotting with the bird. He start gunshotting it. He hears it. My proposal says, "Sure, I thought he's dead," but he says, "That's Jack Sparrow. He came from the ship. He came from the ship, sneaking around." He would have respected him for going back to the ship, and he's rolling with the bone legs, and tries to back in the black ships, and to climb aboard, and he would have saw them chasing through for the HMS Dauntless when they were stranded there. The ship was sunken from after the hurricane. Here was thundering storms. Here was just considering for one of the great reasons. And two captains in the crew. His name as the newest one, and the name of the cruise ship. He was just saying shiny. He was literally for yesterday from last 3 years. He arrived before Isla de Mata. He was reclaiming the sea for the treasure with it, and he was the Royal. It was the Royal Navy. He replied. He went back for the London, and Marty says for the white. Marty says with a head sorry, headballs. But he was talking with the pirate dwarf. It says, when the hurricane. He cheer up. It wasn't a great one reason. It was a total about really secretary, and but he was treasury. He was literally just looking for treasuries or something, and Cotton's parrot. Cotton parrot said to the bird, "Huh? What the blame?" What the bird said, and he flinked the pistols pointed at him. "Do not blame the bird, George. One piece in there is a lot there." He screeched to the Jack the monkey, the skeleton ones, and tries to shoot at him. Shoot at it. And he looks under the napkins, but he says, "It's a key." "Move! No! It is the drawing of a key." He hears the jingling organs from the piano, and when it wrote the drawing, the black key drawing them as chess keys come from. And he says keys unlock things, and he says the keys to the unlock, and the B-side as the valuable. What the key is and it unlocks, but he says no. The he won't have the key, and it seems as I am not far enough to ensure he didn't apply. He'd find his key into this station and Tame Island. So, but he never does go and mess his key. He don't have to do these things inevitable. So, I didn't see any of the questions of them. So, yep. He has a heading. Set sail back to the cross to the Atlantic Seven Seas. So, and sure it does in the matter of what's happening there. It's always to say set sail. That way. Direction. Captain. He says, "Come on. She'll want to by yourself. Oi. And Marty gives just replyable just to say Jack Sparrow's hit a turn that is his all. And when the sails achieves as nose of the Black Pearl, and it was a sail from crossing the seas of the ocean. The foggy and the lightning was hard as it held her. But the day of the morning at mid-afternoon, William Turner meeting Beckett in the courthouse in his office. When the soldiers reapply, Lord Beckett, we need a prisoner as an order, sir. He says there's no need to get to the necessary. And when Will Turner tells him Beckett knows about the East India Trading Company he was doing for the Caribbean, and he was supposed to came from Africa, East India Trading Company from the Africa. He was met for the services. He was literally just also have a scene sometimes. He was looking for Captain Sparrows. He was more of the quiet now, as lucidal as it looks of the vast. Here was the conversations as long stories. He has an intention and long stories, harder and notice. I have a really important for you guys to know. The part 2. I have about the second movie. It isn't a mark means, but he knows about it. Wrote to his drawing stuff for the Captain Jack Sparrows. He would go with him. He would have covered with his property with the presentations, but he says recovering. He was pointing to the sword, but he was bargaining, and that envelope was the mark. He was pointing over, and he wouldn't have been fooled. I should have been a part of it, and Jack would be free. Beckett says he replied he didn't believe he couldn't see him once again. And William Turner asked Orlando Bloom as pointed over Jack Sparrow to question as an evolutionary, as a documentary, as it would be free. As he says, freedom. And there are the soldiers and walking towards the plane to the port, and they're looking for Jack Sparrow into the ships, and he wouldn't see him once in a long time, and he was looking for the Black Pearl by Will Turner. Beckett replied, the Black Pearl. He was a property once again. The ship hardly as the black as the nose of wicked winds, as the nose as a type of galleon. He was literally just saying he was on the ship hardly, and he needs to find more hardly valuable, unavailable. It would be particular to the going back here to break up for him. He know him. He's gonna bring the compass. He wasn't been on no deal. He has no deal. And Jack Sparrow's new captain cabins, and looking around towards to do finding new appointment on this island. And he's empty the bottle, saying, why is the rum always gone? Oh, petrified. Petrified, that means that's why. And certainly it's outside the raining. It was the deleted scene. It was the deleted scenes, and he was rowing over looking for a sail of the seas, facing the eyes on the seven seas of the oceans. And when the captain under the man of variability, and he went downstairs the deck, all the way down there. But he says, as it were, gents. But he knows why he here, and and he was a little unavailable works about. Particularly, he was snoring with the crew, sleeping on the deck. He says, "As it were, gents." He still quietly. He was respect him, and what kind of about the pirate ladies where he bends, and but he was in the course where he do something, He was convinced. Yeah, one of them decided to see him once again. He opens the wood doors, and nobody's there. But he says, "Where's everybody?" But he looked at the woods out there. He looks kind of something light in the light. And that's the sea. That's the sea mammals. That's the sea coral reefs where he come from. And but he looks like the old guy was the pirate ones. He joined in the sea pirates of the sea pirates in the pearl, inside the deck. But he says, "Time's run out, Jack." He considerably with voices on, and he just looked on into the left, and he was sitting stranded and soaking wet into the wood. But he confused says, "Bootstrap, Bill Turner." "Jack Sparrow," he replied, staring him in the sea. He had seen them before. He says, "You look good, Jack." He grasped and confused. He was in the moment he was in converses and meeted him for once in the welcomed. But he says, "Are you saying?" He is saying, "This is your ship?" But he says, "No, not Humpar." But he says, "Behold, it be rum." He gives to the sea rums, trying to drink it, and but he says, "You got the pearl back in the sea." He wouldn't have seen about the pearls, by the way, and he says, "Your son, William, his dad's seen him for a long time, for the last 23 years, last 13 years. But he wouldn't end up a pirate after all. He was in the versioning of a Jack Sparrow tells the bootstrap Bill Turner with his son William for what was going on there with the sails of 7 seas, where they stayed behind. When the bootstrap tells about the new captain of the sea ships, but he sent him, Captain Davy Jones. He never seen it before. It's play as Bill Nighy, as knows as it about nothing can do with nothing, and the deeper in the seas, when the ocean floors. When the flying Dutchman is not there, he knows. He mentioned that about sailing ships as a type of galleon, and it seals the 7 seas to the coral reef, and but his pet as knows about sea monsters, as he knows about the formerly leaf anthin, sea dragons, and sea monsters, and coral hybrids like Percy Jackson's second movie. And once and again, when Captain Jack Sparrow sails the 7 seas as the Black Pearl, as knows about a lot of things about the terrible escape. He was at the bottom of the ocean. He literally just diving into the reef, and but he gives the bottle back with his friendly. But he was joining the pleasure. He was walking back to the from the mutiny. But he says he wouldn't make it telling him what was going to happen. But he tries to depths what the monster does. Technically, he says he maybe was talking about like this. He would tell somebody for you soul alive, bound to good 100 years in the Venus for the accepted. And it's kind of like 1640s. But he was saying he has had the flying just like he made it the captain says, but he yells him privately, he say, but it's a longer for you. And he was just terrible to laugh in the month. He was terrible to laugh in the Leviathan pointed to you. And the pearl tries to drag down to the depths onto the locker, into the Davy Jones locker, into the depths. And kind of up about 18,000 feet tall. He believed he was saying terrible beastie. And he made it to told him sometimes. So, but he times up, tries to puts a hand in the fist with his hand. But he comes in a powerful as he knows about the bears. But he was transformed as a black spot, as the octopus black head. He said he's gone. But where did he go? But Jack tells the crew, say, all hands to Jack. The mate of us getting mouse in the movie. That a movie. I want the movie. And tries to hurry them up. And he was panicking. He was panicking to run towards the around the seven seas. But he says, "You have a heading? Run, land." And tries to run over in the stairs. They say, "What port? The same port. That's the line to England." And he took his hat. Jack the monkey throws down into the water, bottling. He says, "Jack's hat. Clear above. No, leave it. Run." Gives order to the crew, say, "Back to the station. A lot of them." Tries to hide back to scare them. He would say, whisper, "Jack, shh. My little loving and brother, the child, Jack, what's gonna after us?" He wouldn't say nothing. Jack Sparrow took Jack Sparrow's hat, arrived towards for the Turkish fishing boat, and when the two of them was awake, the five of them was asleep, and he speak to the Turkish man. He takes to the Turkish man for the language, and he just started about once to share about his hat, and they don't have to do this. They don't have to speak English. They speak in a language, a lot of it. They came from the Turkish island, fishing through the boat. Decided, A happens. When the sea monster go towards for the small ships, there's a colossal squid beside it about the giant colossal jumbo cuttlefish, salopod, and leviathan, as known in the sea mammals as monsters, as the kraken. The kraken was under the water. It was banging hitting the reef, cracking into the woods, and hear an explosion splashing into the water, and he was eaten by the crew, and he has been formerly hungry a lot, and he starts opening that mouth beside of her the tentacles. There's an 8 beside of a 10. When is about it just looks like about cracking over just like octopus, squids, cuttlefish, cephalopods, and trifles. Splashing over the Jack's mouth, splashing over the kraken's mouth. When the hat is there, and it's a long blood vessel with his mouth. Okay, enjoy your time. Okay, to continue to demonstrate for movie madness. Okay, mateys, don't forget to subscribe for more content to www.com.org. So tell your friends about the history, the documentary of the dead man's chest of the last 10 years. So you know that right. You know that right. So you can type the right to the red description and www.com.org. So Pirates of the Caribbean film series.gus. So tell your friends and fan sites according to the candidates, public appearances, and so tell McJuggernuggets, Big Brother, Georgie Staubauger, Kid Behind the Camera, Bridget West, and Manny Corn, Jared Riley, and Grandpa's Corners, and Psycho Dad, Joe Bum, Larry's Lounge, Psycho Mom, and Melissa, Psycho Uncle 1 through 3, and Psycho Aunt 1 and 2, and Creed, Ragging Dad, Bow Squad, Crazy Boyfriend, Crazy in Love, and Derek Diesel Daily, Cube by Guy, The Cube by Guy Life, that's Boo, The Boo Show, Life of Moko, Life of Boo, and Ilya Giles, Ben Phillips, and Nana Giles, just today. So, forever Alex Anna today, Alexander Dario, and Logan Lerman, and Douglas Smith, Jake Aba, and Brandon D. Jackson, and Leva Raman on Instagram. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google, find / gaming challenge, Juggy Stores, Cockle Talk, Cockle Stories, Tamalel, and Hangouts and Play Stores. You wanted to do send out today, and this is today as the day was the morning as the Dead Man's Chest documentary Movie Madness. So don't forget, guys, keep it rich, mateys. Don't forget, life will love you guys to death. So don't forget, keep it rich, mateys.